Yeah, just understanding that a community and building community is what's my aim, you know. And it's great that I can flex my style and people can appreciate and give thanks for it. But there's another approach of how is it going to help other folks bring out the best and what their true potential could be, you know?
I can't say too much more on this podcast than I already have about how much I admire Spie TMC TDK. He's just been like one of my inspirations in the graph world. And then when I got to like hear him speak, have conversations, learn more about him back in the day, he became one of my personal heroes and inspirers. And you know, in this talk that we got to have, I mean, I was just so blessed because I learn and learn and learn when I get to chop it up with Spie. He's a born leader. He's a born educator. He may not, I challenged him a couple weeks ago in the clip that we released about, becoming an elected official or a community organizer, and that's not the venue that he wants, or that's not the platform that he wants to be on. And I appreciate his grassroots approach to it. We get to learn more in this episode about how he came up this way and the partners that he had. There's some great stories you're about to hear about Spie and Dream and their relationship before Mike Dream was taken from us. And it's always encouraging to get to hear from someone in our community speak with passion and speak with eloquence, and is able to get his ideas together and his thoughts together and express that through words. This interview for me was one of the highlights of this podcast because it reinforces some of my own goals in why I make this podcast, why I still paint walls, why I engage people the way that I do around community building, around the social structure, the social net that we have in this graffiti culture that's existed before we had access to the internet or other tools like it. We have always been community oriented, whether we knew it or not, whether we were speaking to a larger group outside of the graffiti community or not, didn't matter. What we were was, and still are, this body of communicators that have something to say. And Spie gets to say, I give him the opportunity, I hope, to say a lot of things that I just feel it's so important that we have on record. And so, without further ado, let's get into this episode. That exhale you just heard was the breath of Spie TMC TDK FC. Really,
well, that's what they say.
Look, really excited to have this man back on the podcast in our second season. He came on to our first season. I want to say it was episode 16, Spie from TMC. He's in San Francisco right now. I'm in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I am Adam. He is Spie. Thanks for being on the phone today, brother. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, man. I love that you're putting in the good work in trying to document, the many stories that people need to share, I guess. Yeah.
I do my best, man. And I think that's all I got, and I'm trying here. I really, the culture deserves it. We've put in so much work, and I'm not going to let it just be lost in the abyss of information that's out there. So it's why we're here. And, in last year's episode, it was a really great episode for me personally, and it got a huge feedback, a huge response from people. I told you on that episode that you were highly requested. More people were asking to hear from Spie than from really anyone in California. And then having you on, I already knew it was going to be great to talk to you, but it was really great. And we started at the early days. I think you were talking about 79 and 80, and we worked our way up to 96, 97.
Dang, that far, huh?
We did.
Okay.
We did. And, like it was really, it was great. I grew up, you were a part of my graffiti diet, every day. And like, and I grew up on you. I grew up on you and a lot of the guys from your generation. I think you said you consider yourself to be a sort of a second generation San Francisco writer. And that would make me, I guess, a third gen. And, yeah, for people that don't know you on the East Coast, you were highly influential, still are, and so I thank you.
Thank you.
We were talking about in 96, 97, basically the trip that you and Mike Dream took out to New York around that time, was where we left off, and I know a lot of the San Francisco cats that are listening right now. They want to hear about Spie, his life, his graph in Frisco in 96, 97. How do you want to start talking about those years? Do you want to talk about New York a little bit, that trip with Mike?
Wow, shoot. Okay, so it's always kind of a sort of a chore, as you get older, you're trying to dig back into the memory banks, and then the stories that one replaced for yourself kind of get reinforced, and sometimes they can be accented with other things that sometimes aren't exactly, I don't know. Some might say it wasn't factual, but
yeah. Do you have an example of something like that?
I don't know. It's just like, not right off the bat. It's just like memories kind of linger if you want them to,
Sure.
and it's so easy to forget stuff, and I think the world that we're in with dealing with graph is like, photographs play an integral part of that, keeping in touch with people, of course, and sharing stories kind of reinforce those. And, I mean, as someone who's, done this for a few years, you keep going on and life takes over and you're just living for what is the necessity now. So it's sometimes a little tricky to recall,
yes.
In a logical sense, how it all went down.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think one of the reasons that My Life in Letters exists is trying to like kind of parse that stuff out. And we know that we're not always going to get it right. And I never hold my guests accountable that every single, timeline thing that they talk about is accurate. But we try to get as close as we can.
Yeah. So I mean, for me in the mid '90s, it was like, I think of, I was in school. I went back to school. And then, I spent some time in the summer times kind of going off and getting out of the state, getting out of the country. So, and great memories are formed and, in that sense. So, I mean, 96, you talked about Mike Dream and myself going to New York. Actually, we met out in New York that summer. I went on a tour. I went to Cuba. I was in Jamaica. I spent like just a short time in Miami, and then I went up to New York and just visited friends up there for a while. And then Mike came out and met me out there, which was funny because he was working for FedEx at the time, and he had free flights, but he had to jump on the freight plane.
Oh wow!
So he had to ride with the pilot.
What?
In a plane that didn't have any sound kind of control, or he had to wear the big headset and it was really loud. And
what?
I don't know what the temperature control was wherever he sat on that plane, but he did it. I can't even imagine. But he got off the plane, and I met up with him around Penn Station somewhere or something like that, and we just went from there.
What time of year was it? Do you remember?
It was summertime. It was hot times.
Nice.
This was August.
Yo, my favorite time of year in New York City. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, it was steaming.
And you said you had just come from doing a trip into Cuba and Jamaica and Miami right before that. So you were
I was doing a mural project. I was doing a mural project in Cuba. And I went on a pretty big delegation of folks from the city here. It was like over 100 people, and we were
really
celebrating we're celebrating the life of a brother named JoJo White,
Mm.
who was Joshua White, who was in the Board Stiff crew and who was murdered
Yes.
in January of '96, senselessly, and people really felt a loss, and we wanted to relive his memory by doing what he wanted us to all do, which was experience Cuba and the revolution that was in effect over there, and how they were being self-sufficient under the grasp of the embargo from the U.S. and all kinds of other things.
Was JoJo White Cuban, of Cuban descent?
No, he's just a Anglo kid from the Haight Street. But he was a community activist. He worked with young folks. He was a beast on the b-ball court, but he was just a part of the Board Stiff crew, and which is a very tight family. And so we all kind of pulled our money and got together. I think it was a global exchange project, because they do reality tours, to Cuba and stuff. And so we went there and met a lot of good people. We even got to sit down and have a nice talk with Assata Shakur from,
who was in asylum there, still is in asylum there.
Still is,
right.
as one of the FBI's most wanted.
Yeah,
right now in this country now. So, it was a very eye-opening. We also met other political prisoners still in exile, that were in the Panthers and very active in the early 70s and stuff. So
who coordinated that whole trip? You said that there was like an exchange going on. What groups coordinated that?
There was a group called Global Exchange.
Oh, that's what they were called. Okay.
Yeah, that we were the JoJo White Committee and stuff, and we went to a community center, which devoted the new name of the community center to him. Based on a very profound poem that he made for the world about just world peace and doing something with a purpose. And when you get older, this is what I want to do to provide for the people. And he was only 12 years old when he wrote that poem, but we brought it there and people loved it. And we got to see a lot, and in the meantime I took my paint with me, and I got down, in a little soccer court over there, met a lot of cool kids, just painted there. And then, to get there, I passed through another island, Jamaica, and I started, seeing some old friends there, and I painted a little bit out there as well. So it's kind of like a little tour on my little summer break,
That's amazing, man.
So,
and you said that you went with 100 people. Who were some of the other writers that you were traveling with?
Not much other writers.
Okay.
I mean, I was kind of like taking my own solo. I didn't go with the whole chartered plane or whatever. I just kind of like met up with the group, and just did it like that. But when I got to New York, I met up with Mike, and then hung out with writers there. Hung out with Mr. Stephen Powers.
Nice.
And
soon to be a future guest, by the way, on this podcast. He's agreed. He's agreed to come on. So yeah, he's writing a book right now. He's doing a book about his work, and so he said once he's done with his book,
come out with his book.
Oh, okay.
Come out with his book, The Art of Getting Over.
Oh my gosh,
and when that dropped,
when that
dropped, man, the city had a fit, right? And I believe they raided his place,
Oh, really?
I don't know the whole story on it, but
I'll ask him.
Yeah, he came under fire for that one. But we were hanging. We went out to Brooklyn and painted on some crazy hot day.
Nice.
I forget the name of the yard over there, but we got down in that heat.
So who were you painting with that day besides Dream?
Oh, Aswell.
Okay.
And there's just us trekking around.
Oh, nice. Just the three.
Dream was on a mission, man. He was out there in Brooklyn. He was on a hunt. He really wanted to meet J. Rue the Damager, man. He was like, I gotta meet this brother. I gotta meet this brother. Me and him, we know we gotta talk. We gotta talk. You know, he was on that, and I guess he never found him, but he went to a whole bunch of
Oh,
record stores trying to find his brother. You
that's
know, because
that's so funny,
Mike was
man.
all about touching down with real folks. You
Yeah,
know,
I'll tell you, J. Rue
and
was
the
mad real too, Eric. I got a quick
oh
story
yeah,
of when I met
yeah.
J. Rue. I went to the Maritime Hall around the same era, 96, 97. He was doing a show there. And I went down. I had no money. I had no ticket. I went at like 12 noon in the afternoon before security got there. Anyone, right? I'm hanging out front in the morning. And sure enough, like more and more people started to congregate in front of the Maritime Hall. And at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, J-Rue just came walking through this crowd of people that were out front. And there were all these ciphers, all these dudes were battling, you know, it was just, that was happening back then. And I remember this dude called out J-Rue. He wanted to battle him, right? So J-Rue battles him, tore him up, battled about 10 other MCs, tore them all up. And as he was walking back, I like ran up to him in my black book and I was like, yo, because I knew that he did some graph. I was like, can you get up in my book? So J-Rue did like a throwy. He like looked at my pieces. He kind of gave me some compliments. And I was like, yo, do you have any love on the like free ticket or the VIP? And he like looks around and then he looks back at me and he says this, I shit you not. He says, right before the show, someone's going to come out here and they're going to say, who wants the purple feathers and the pink minks? And when you hear that, you say, I don't wear fur. And that's how that dude's going to know to give you the VIP. And then J-Rue walks away. And I'm like, what the fuck did this guy just say to me? That shit is crazy. That shit is some New York shit, right? And so then 8 or 9 o'clock, the show is about to start. There's 1,000 people in front of the Maritime Hall. And I'm thinking, there's no way this is going to happen. And just by chance, dude, I hear this guy creep up to this group of girls and he says, hey, hello, ladies, you know, who wants the purple feathers and the pink minks? And they all look at him like, you fucking crazy? And I scream out, I don't wear fur, you know? And then he like looks at me and he's like, he gives me like a shush kind of symbol, but he checked me out. He came back about 5-10 minutes later with another dude and a girl who obviously had the same cue. We all got VIP backstage passes. I went and kicked it with J-Rue all night in the bus. Dude was so real and so cool. And that story, dude, I'll never forget it. I mean, you know, it was just very new. It was so New York to me at the time, right?
That's great, man.
So okay, so Mike Green is like, I need to find this brother. Okay.
Yeah, Mike was loving it. It was his first time out to the NY, and he just had to see everything. You know, went to Hall of Fame, just trekked around Washington Heights and up in the Bronx. He was just going all over the place. I don't think he totally didn't want to sleep ever.
I
mean, he was just
man.
walking all night long, you know, just calling up anybody he had, you know, contact for and just trying to see them.
And you guys were both FC because of the trip you had taken earlier. Was that a thing? Did you guys meet up with the FC guys and do a wall or paint together?
Not at that time.
Oh, okay.
No, not at that time. I mean, yeah, we just kind of did our own thing. We played around with a little bit of paint here and there.
Okay.
Rooftop.
Nice.
Can't totally recall, but yeah, it was just living it, you know.
I mean, it sounds beautiful, and like that. I visited New York in '94 in the summer, and it's a different city now. But man, back then, there was something real special about New York City in the 90s. And I wasn't even free to roam. I was with my family. You were free to roam. You were a young man. It must have been great. It must have been so much fun.
Yeah.
How long were you guys here, you and Mike?
Oh, I don't know. A week,
okay.
A little over a week. It wasn't long.
Did you guys fly back together? Did Mike take the FedEx freight bus again?
He got back on it.
Did he?
FedEx Connect.
Dude, and do you think he sat in the front again with the captain?
Oh, shit. I don't know if I know. I don't know.
That must be so ill, by the way, to sit at the front and look out the window at those clouds.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the comfort of my little chair. I can close the window, you know.
Side seat, man.
Yeah. Okay, so then you come back to New York. And you know what's interesting is that you came back from that Cuba trip, which actually sounds pretty influential.
Yeah.
And I wonder, did you have a new outlook on things when you got back to Frisco? Was it business as usual? I mean,
oh no, I mean, I was soaking it up. You know, it was very influential on me.
Yeah.
You know, I learned so much, and I still continue to learn about, you know, just how it's possible to see a world that is not like here. You know, I mean, you go around, there's not things telling you to buy things everywhere. You know, it's just a different mode.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know, of course, you know, it's promoting the revolution, the billboards there do all that, but it's not billboards like here that are telling you to just buy this and buy that. So
yeah, that's interesting.
That's just different in itself too. You know,
yeah.
You know, TV is different. You know, the way people interact is just like different. It's like people aren't in that hustle race, you know, but still folks are still getting their hustle on trying to survive.
Of course. Yeah. But it's not that capitalism. Hard, you know? It's not the way capitalism makes us hustle, because we do it in such a different way. So, any oppressed country, I think, is going to have that perspective. Yeah. You know, it's interesting, man. I was telling someone last week that you were going to come back on the show, and he's a New Yorker, didn't really know of you. And I was like, this dude was woke like 25 years before, 30 years before the expression came out. You know, that was kind of the thing about you guys, man. You had this knowledge, you know what I'm saying, dude? Y'all been woke since the jump. And then I'm hearing this, that you go to Cuba and you get to meet with people like Assata Shakur. I mean, that must have been just wild to sit at the table.
The talk was real, man. I mean, what I remember she was saying is that, you know, what's really most important is how you keep what is real priority in one's life, you know, and how to keep a critical eye to the consumerist world that we live in, and how does it affect our well-beings, you know? We gotta like really respond to like what is beneficial to our personal, our family, and our community life, as opposed to just always being a peon and tool for somebody else to make a buck off of.
Yeah,
you know?
Which, you know, man, I wasn't anywhere near understanding that in 97 or 96. I mean, I didn't think about consumerism at all. I was just a part of the machine, you know? And I know you were probably already thinking about it before that trip, but I'm sure that solidified things for you. You know, I also wonder if visiting Cuba and meeting with people that live in political asylum or living as basically political prisoners, if it just made your graffiti get even more focused on kind of addressing those issues. You already were. How did it affect your graffiti specifically?
You know, just understanding that a community and building community is what's my aim, you know. And it's great that I can flex my style and people can appreciate and give thanks for it. But there's another approach of how is it going to help other folks bring out the best and what their true potential could be, you know, and how is it responding to the community in which the art exists in, you know? So, I mean, before that, that 96, I did my very first kind of acrylic brush mural work. And I did this Malcolm X mural with a brother named Kamal at the university. So, and I got to meet Betty Shabazz, who came out.
Wait, where was this painted?
Unveiled.
Which university?
SF State.
Wow.
And they were unveiling there. It had 3,000 people there.
Wow.
And pulled the string, and then she said these words about, like, you know, if ever you're feeling down and not exactly knowing how to get through something, I want you to sit here and look at these colors, look at these, look at the way that the world was portrayed, and think about Malcolm's life, and you know, feel get some inspiration to motivate you to carry on, you know.
Wow.
And that was a great experience. So
that's
meeting
powerful.
her, and shaking her hand, and it was just a greatest honor. You know.
And how much time did you get to spend with Betty Shabazz?
Oh, it was just in the afternoon.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, coming back, you know, I was enrolled in school at that point, and my life was like really trying to just educate myself. And I found a good niche where, you know, I was being the school guy now, you know, because I don't know. I mean, just before that, just working, traveling, painting, doing stuff.
Mhm.
Well, my young partner, Tace,
Mm.
it was a young brother that was hanging out with me a lot, and sometimes camping out,
Mhm.
for for just some a little bit of safety and guidance.
Yo,
He was
shout
a
out to
young
that guy, by the
brother.
way. He's putting it
Yeah,
down in
Tace is
Oakland right
doing
now.
it. He
He's
is really
doing
doing
it.
it.
Yo, it's really good to see, man. I like seeing those
And
Uzi
I
tees again.
and I always think about his experience, and sometimes I see him. I say, "Hey, what's up, Chase? What you doing, man? You gonna go to school? What's going on? Where are you out of school or something?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." And there's just so much I can just say, but I truly believe that you got to lead by example. So in
Yeah.
some part, I felt like if he's already kind of seeing that I can go that way, let me show him that I can go do that, but I can still keep myself and keep what I'm doing
Mhm.
intact, and it's not like I'm giving up on something by taking on something new,
Hmm.
you know.
Mhm.
So in some ways, I he was a push for me to
Hmm.
take on another aspect of my own personal growth.
I'm
You know,
curious too then, like what was it you saw in Taste that made you step up and do that?
just raw and keeping it real,
Mhm.
and he's just an incredible talent,
Hmm.
and an incredible mind that just is full of ideas and just
Hmm.
I mean, I just young folks got that, and I think
Mhm.
older folks sometimes end up losing it just because of the life demands and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Just the rawness and the realness of like a young person coming in and just saying, "Oh yeah, this is what it is."
Mhm.
It it's just it comes from the straight shot from the soul,
Mhm.
and it's exciting to see what young folks and like himself was doing, so.
Yeah, and so you kinda I mean, would you say you mentored him, or would you just say he was just, someone that you had your eye on and you wanted to inspire?
Uh, yeah, someone. Yeah, I mean, mentor like I gave him sketches or anything. No, I didn't really do much of anything like that. I
Mhm.
mean, he saw that I was putting in work and doing murals and stuff, and
Mhm.
doing a little something more than just letters.
Yeah.
Trying to find a crossroad between community mural pieces and the true graph spray paint letter
Mhm.
dominated look. I mean, that's kind of like what I started to merge into is like
Hmm.
taking what I was learning and really saying that, hey, you know what? If I got this knowledge, what am I going to do with it? I don't want to be a fool
Hmm.
and not share it. So I got to pass it on in some way. And my vehicle was putting it into a visual form, and I found my niche doing that. So
Yeah. My mind was just kind of running a little bit just now about leaders because you go to Cuba and you just happen to sit down with Shakur. You unveil a painting and of Malcolm X, and his wife is there to show it to you, and you get to spend time with her. You happen to partner with a guy like Mike Dream, who in his own right, probably from his birth, he was a teacher. He was just this guy.
he
Do,
was a
do,
builder, definitely.
yeah. Do you think that do you think maybe that teaching has always been your destiny?
Sharing and being communal,
Mm.
I
Mhm.
think is part of my upbringing.
Mhm.
I think um, a craving to get into the craft of graph is like it was a social push there, because
Yeah.
everybody was doing it. The need to want to be uh, respected and seen,
Mhm.
right? Um, it- yeah, and then I, was a little bit more into getting into the artwork part of it, so
Mhm.
it's kind of evolved from there.
Well, and like
You
your murals teach. And in the Bay Area, like we're fortunate. There's a history of art on walls teaching people about things, which
hmm
many cities don't have that. I would argue New York City doesn't have that. And it's a shame, actually. I was just talking with another friend about how come there's no there's never money in New York City for murals, but they allocate millions for physical like sculptures, installations. Multiple millions every year go to that, and $0 go to murals. Maybe not zero, but you just don't see murals being funded. But the Bay Area always has, and it's something I appreciate about your work, man. It's like I've learned about the plight of different people through your work, and so when back to this idea of leaders, like we're in like and we're gonna stick on Graf and your career, but I can't help but touch on the state of leadership in the world right now. Maybe we can just focus on America because that's easy. And I'm just dying to know, because the last time we spoke, we lived in a pre-Trump world. And we are now in a totally different place. And I think about hearing names like Malcolm X, and I think for better or for worse, he was a really smart leader. What you got any sage wisdom about where we are right now with our leadership in this country and where we're going? Because it's exhausting for me, man, and I don't have answers sometimes. I wonder if you do.
Oh man, I've never been one of, similar to that, like how Malcolm would say it. I've been always critical about how to use the word "we" and "our" in defining like who is it that I'm saying is my leader or my teacher. So, I mean, it's not much different. I mean, what's the big focus of this country's moves is make the almighty dollar. It's like the commerce and taking and raping of the resources is where it's at. And they'll be cutthroat and let people go as they please just to get that bottom line. And maybe it's a little bit more covert now. I mean, a little bit more
in your
apparent
in your face,
as opposed to being covert right now.
Right. Which I don't know what's better. You know what I mean? Now that all the racists in our upper government are exposed, it's like I don't know if it makes it any better. I always knew they were there. And in a way it hurts more to just see it, but it wasn't a big surprise to me. I agree with that. Also, your idea about we and because the people in the White House certainly are not my leaders. They're not even my elected officials because I didn't vote any of them in. Can you maybe talk a little bit more about your feelings about these guys? Because I know you got a lot to say about this administration. I just know it, and so I want to give you that space to explore it.
I could, and they need to be critiqued and they need to be studied, definitely, But I think it can be quite draining as well, I think if we're about trying to build with what we're able to, we should be putting in the energy of how to, again, build community and bring out the best in folks so that they don't become locked into a system of servitude. The court system, or just get caught up into like, oh, this is the only way it's possible and that kind of thing. It really does come back to what do you want to put your energies toward? I could get completely drained from just like getting sucked up in the world of news. And then be talking about, oh, I know what's going on. It's all these heads of state and stuff always talk about making moves with their what intelligence says or something, but these folks ain't got no intellect. You know what I'm saying? It's like their mode is not about supporting humanity.
It's not about for advancing humanity. Is that what you said?
No, it's not supporting of the working class people in this country or around the world. It's not, So what can we do locally, grassroots, to make a change and bring about some kind of self-determination for our own communities, as opposed to always saying, oh, we just got to, go out and try to get somebody elected and thinking that they're going to do something for us. They're all going to cut deals with any kind of power brokers that have the real power hand
Yeah.
in charge here. And it's downright maddening
Yeah.
that people's energies get literally taken from them, and then they live in a guise thinking that they can really make a difference if they, oh, we got to build a new Democratic Party or some kind of craziness like that. Like, really? I don't have all the answers. I don't like being asked to give the answers, but I really feel that we got to recognize our own best potential and see that we have a whole bunch of other folks being very equal and sharing the same kind of struggle.
Yeah. I ask you if you have answers, mainly because you're a teacher. You teach children. I wonder a lot.
They teach me, man.
I bet they do. I bet they do. But listen,
I'm going, Daddy, they're trying to tell me the right thing.
Well, here's the thing. I wonder how you reconcile what these kids are hearing, things that they just shouldn't hear from a president of anything. You know what I mean? And I wonder how you help them kind of deal with that, how you help them rectify or create understanding about all this kind of crazy, hateful stuff that they're hearing about.
I mean, like I said, it's about being, like you said, being woke, being aware, but being critical and paying attention to what's going on so that it doesn't come as a shock or a surprise and you don't end up being paranoid. It's wild. I mean, we got to be in a state of somewhat rage in some way because of the stuff that's being handed down to like our neighbors here, our own folks are being persecuted and living in fear of being deported or
right. I mean, it's
walking outside their own home and getting shot by someone who doesn't know what's going on and just wants to take from somebody because they ain't got nothing for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same story. It's like the bullies of the world are just taking advantage of the weakest people right now. I primarily DACA recipients. Like, I just can't even. It just like every day I just wake up even more kind of beaten down by this situation that 800,000 Americans are dealing with right now. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, and they're being used as a little wedge to them get rid of all the folks that are not DACAs, folks that are not on that program. It's like it's a crazy card game, man.
It is a crazy card game. And I'm asking because I see you as like a player, and you're talking about community organizing, and it just makes me think, when are we going to see Eric Spie for city councilman? Is that ever in your future?
No.
Really? No politics?
Hell, not in that sense.
Okay.
I'm all about just being a critical-minded person that tries to keep hip. What a curious one. How did he define hip hop? Hip is being wise and I guess intelligent to know what's going on, or taking the approach of just being woke, right? And then hop is the movement. Go ahead and do it. It's like coming with a particular set of understanding of the world in which we live that forwards our creative output.
Yeah.
So
no, that's good.
That's
I guess maybe I'll say it another way. I publicly challenge you. I officially challenge you to become an elected official, Eric, because you got so much leadership. Now listen, you being a critical thinker, that's great. Listen, that's great. We need critical thinkers. I would like to give you a bigger platform for you to be able to tell people your thoughts. And maybe that's another, maybe you'll start your podcast one day, which could be kind of interesting.
I'm not into telling people what to do and how to think,
Yeah,
I'm going to do what I can do to personally feel good that I know that I'm doing it right. I'm trying to push and besting what I guess I've already done.
Yeah.
And that's work enough, you know? I mean, carrying on with this craft is like, it's tough to sometimes get yourself out of your own rut of doing things the same way,
Definitely.
you know,
Definitely.
and trying to approach something new. And you know, we've all maybe done something a million times and feel comfortable with it, and then we get real complacent and saying,
Yeah.
yeah, I can do that real quick. I
Yeah.
can get a commission like that real fast. You know, it works. You know, other folks are marvel about it, but
Yeah.
you may be stale with it. You might it's something ill within you that needs to break out and be more exploring.
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
think it's interesting.
so
Like that happened for me, just going back to school a couple years back and getting a graduate degree. And maybe this
right,
is a way we can transition back to your timeline, because in 96, 97, you were studying. You were at SF State. Is that right? You were at SF
yeah.
State.
Yeah, I was able to like do my art and have a
Yeah.
job at the school painting banners. And I got commissioned to do other things there. I had some cheap rent, so I was doing pretty good. You know,
I
I
bet.
was like, I always treated the institution, the university, kind of like a candy store. Like, what do you got for me?
Nice.
You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go do my study and I take care of your requirements. But I don't know, maybe it's my quirky way of like scatterbrainness or whatever. Like I go into the library, I'd want to study and kind of take care of this, but I look up on the shelf and I see something that incited my interest. Next thing you know, I'd be sitting there for the next 3 or 4 hours learning about something else that
Nice.
but I would probably now regard as wasting my time, right?
Right. No.
But I mean,
Yeah.
there's other things that I mean, it's a resource. You know, the university is a resource.
I
You got
completely agree
all
with
kinds
you.
of
And
contacts,
and depending on,
materials,
I mean,
methods.
depending on how you do it, if you're paying them a whole lot of dough, they damn well better give you a lot for it. I completely,
Yeah.
I subscribe to that idea. If you're going to an institution, you are there to take from them, and
Yeah.
I mean, it should be mutual. There's going to be a nice give
But
and take. I hope.
what I often trip off is like, where did my mindset operate in that fashion, that kind of do it yourself approach, like that real independent, you know, I'm gonna have my own label type of, I'm gonna go do this myself, I'm gonna hustle it out the back of my car type of thing. It's like, that's what graph actually instilled within me in a young age. Is like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna try it this way. I'm gonna go out and do it because nobody else ain't gonna do it. Okay, well, then I'm gonna go do it. You know, so there's that push to know that you've already been there and you've been confronted with that kind of scenario before, and it makes it a little bit more easier to maybe take that risk.
Yeah, I can totally get with that. I'm interested in when you were in school for those 4 years. How did you balance the graph with study and just everything else you were doing?
Well, honest truth, I mean, I wasn't up at nighttime no more. I really wasn't painting as much anymore.
Interesting. So by the time you went back to school,
it's kind of like a swapping of things going on here. But I just started to refine my craft when I was in the act of doing it or preparing to do it. I could be more, I guess, efficient, or have a little bit more focus on what I wanted to emphasize on, or what I wanted to create. Like I said, you get older, you got like a timeline, you got time deadlines.
Yeah.
You can only. It's not like going, to the yard and just sitting there all day and just chit chat for hours on end, and then go ahead and paint and then sit back again.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those times. Those are very foundational.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's not realistic anymore for someone who doesn't have that kind of time anymore. I mean, I'm as a person who's, got kids, got a lifelong wife, partner, home, job. Your time is limited. You gotta, and then you just morph into how to operate in that time. And I do feel it gets frustrating sometimes. Like I want to say, damn, I want to go paint. I want to spend time painting.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. You say that in.
I got to sit there and draw. I'm gonna go mad if I don't do it.
In your first episode,
damn it, I gotta wash dishes. I gotta mop the damn floor so I can feel comfortable to be able to do that.
Yo, man,
Jeez,
that's
dude.
hilarious. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And you said this in the last interview. You were like, you would have these moments where you're like, wait, I'm not retired. Why aren't I painting? So then, am I to understand it right that like Graph from 97 ish on became well, your emphasis went to school for 4 years. Did you graduate in 2099?
Yeah, something like that.
Mhm.
2000,
And then
2001.
but I mean the way my memory is of the late 90s, you would still see a new Spy thing. It would jump up. There'd be like a piece, you go down to thirds. I remember you guys did these little, you and Dream did these little, I mean, so this must have been, oh man. I'm sorry. What year did Mike die?
2000, February 17th,
Mhm.
2000.
Thank you. So like it must have been 99 or so. I remember seeing these dope little pieces you guys did on this little cutty spot on 3rd Street. So like you would keep
Little
coming
jammies,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, you would keep coming out. And was that like how did you work that out? Was it like, oh yeah, for old time's sake, we go out? Or was it just like, this is
Yeah.
like you would plan it out for a while
No, it was just,
in the moment?
we just
Nice.
we have to make time to just go do it. I mean, you really have to push yourself because, I don't know. It's just in the blood, you just go do it.
Okay. Yeah. And since we just touched on Mike's death, like I have not talked about this much on this show. We've mentioned Dream many times on different episodes, and he's influenced people all around the world, and we've seen that on this show and just in general. And I didn't get to spend a lot of time with Mike Dream, but the times I did were very memorable. And so when he passed, and the way he passed was really horrible. You being someone really close, really inner circle, I want to give you the time to just talk about him and talk about his death, and any other thoughts you may want to share.
Oh wow! I mean, that just formed a gaping hole in my being. When that went down, and it really reverberated around our whole crew, everybody who knew him. The whole scene took uh, took a real long backseat. Like, oh snap! It was very emotional for me. I mean, as you were coming up with the question here, I mean, and we were talking about New York earlier. I mean, but that was '96. I mean, a couple years later, we were back out in New York in the wintertime for that West Coast, East Coast show at, the Hugo Martinez Gallery thing.
Ah, nice.
And, that was amazing because we met all kinds of old school folks. We were kicking it with Case and Tracy and Bama and Coco 144. Like we just felt like we were with our older uncles, like, eating chips and drinking beer at 3 a.m. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time. And Mike was really taken back, like, man, this is just completely awesome. We're in the mecca of it all right here, meeting all these great pioneers, the folks that we looked up to for so many years of all of our developing stages. It was really
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 9 degrees, and me and Case 2 are walking around the MoMA looking at Jackson Pollock paintings, and he's telling me his stories. I'm like, wow,
Dang.
whoa.
Wow.
I'm just
That's nuts. That image is incredible to think of.
And he was, he would grab me and whisper in my ear, "See that trip right there, like that? That's how I got this."
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
What?
right on, Case.
Wow.
Chilling with Riff 170 was profound. Miko is Latin Pride. These are some guys that, like, they got stories.
Mm-hmm.
They got some stories, man. But yeah, we were out there with Chaz. My brother, Tempt One, who's been laid up for so long right now, and
Yeah.
and yeah, much love. I It was an amazing experience,
Must
and
have
for
been.
myself and Mike to be out there, it was so incredibly charging for him to like refine his output
Hmm.
and his styles. He was Case put him down with TFP
Oh, I didn't know that.
and then gave him a sketch, gave him a particular letter, like giving him like a medal,
Yeah,
like a
right.
certificate of like acceptance, and Mike was just so incredibly juiced. He was just like
Mm.
crying from joy
Mm.
that he was able to just like, touch down that way and be acknowledged,
Mm.
like personally,
Yeah.
from Case Two, it was really amazing. Uh, yeah, a lot of stuff came from that. That was 99. That was 80, 98, 99.
Okay.
That whole Million Youth March had just taken place, which was really cracked down by the New York Police Department. And so we painted something in the gallery there at the show regarding all the bands that came out of those street protests at that time, and gave shout outs to Mumia, Abu Jamal, and just talked about our love of knowing about the foundation where this art form comes from, and knowing that this is something that's not a trend. It's very close to the heart. And it's worth learning about the history of it. And we were around all these legends. It was just like everything was a highlight, and walk around with tingles on your body. Like, oh my God, look at that. Yeah, it was quite amazing.
Did you get to hang out like that Case at the MoMA kind of story? Any other ones like that while you were out here for that trip?
Well, we painted together some little alleyway.
Dope.
That was cool.
Dope.
Oh man, I don't know. Like I said, memories.
Yeah. No, I know. So
he came back. Mike came back and threw down one of his last pieces that's still running today. Actually, the aluminum wall with the silver piece.
I was there. I painted the most.
That's right. You're
ass
right
crack back corner. I barely was on that wall, but I told the homies, I was like, I'll take that. Yeah, I want to be on this wall. That wall. Oh my God, who was on? It was such an epic lineup.
Can too was there?
Can was in town. So was Seek. Virus got down. You and Mike
from South Africa.
Who was from South Africa?
Wasn't there some brother from South Africa on that wall?
That might have been Seek, SEAK, who did that like bugged out 3-dimensional stuff. But then there was Neon, there was Misk, there was Apex, there was me. I know I'm forgetting more heads. That wall was epic, and I just remember sitting back watching Mike not needing to clean up his lines very much on a silver and black wild style. I just remember thinking, damn, like he didn't have to cut back much at all. And I remember just sitting in awe, man, just watching him do that piece.
And these are before the soft spray Montanas, right? So he's like, he treated, imagine like some big fish in the ocean with the fin just kind of like, slow motion waving, that's how he motioned the can when he went to the wall. It was just like so graceful.
There's some people that are made to do certain things.
Super fine spray.
Yeah.
And it was like one pass.
Yeah.
It was like watching a ballet artist on the wall.
Absolutely.
When you watch Mike Dream paint.
Absolutely.
He was so confident where he wanted to go with it. And it was like boom right there. It was like complete meditation. Boom. Yeah.
I forget that was his last piece. I forget that's what that was. And
well, no, technically, no. I mean, he did something up in the old Montgomery Ward building in Oakland, but they tore it down.
I see. Okay. So his last running one is still that one, which now has, 12 different dream pieces on it from different people, all in memoriam.
Right. And they just sold the property there. So I'm hoping that they don't paint over it. There's been actually a big memorial.
Yeah, on the backside, right? Yeah.
Well, there's that, but no, on the hillside, this local artist worked with the local middle school, to build some big giant, like Hollywood sign looking structure on the hillside. It says "Dream" with
Oh.
huge block letters with like cut out gold, silver stainless steel discs that mirror. They're like sequins,
really?
and then it's like
Gosh.
flutters in the wind. So when you go by on the freeway, it's like you have, when you say it, you gotta say it like you're singing. You got "Dream." It's like this is Dream Hill, right? It's right next to that huge billboard, right?
Wow.
And it's like SF's got its like Hollywood sign now, but instead of Hollywood, it says "Dream."
That's beautiful, man. And
And
there's
massive.
Yeah, and Dream Day every year in February is like, actually, I'm sorry, it's not on his death. Dream Day is on his birthday. Is that right?
That's when they did take place. We've kind of like shifted motions now, in that lots of his family is not in the area anymore.
Okay.
And so it didn't really go down last year. And I don't know.
I'll tell you, it went down for me. I did a dream piece last year on Dream Day in Bushwick in Brooklyn.
Oh,
yeah, I did a neon. And listen, so people listening that don't know Dream don't know that he was shot and killed. He was murdered. I don't know what the BART station was. Maybe you do. But he basically got stuck up for his chain, if I'm like getting this correct. And he was shot and killed. And in 2000, there was a lot of violence and death happening in the Bay. We had cats in the Graph community dying of overdoses. We had cats that were getting shot, other accidents, illness, very similar to how it is now. Fortunately, I think we hear a little bit less gun violence in the Graph community than there used to be. But it was so senseless, his death. I wonder if you can speak on that. And if this is too much, we don't have to talk about it. You know what I mean? We can talk about other things. But
I mean, it should be said that what hurts is that there wasn't a private investigator to find out what really happened. That's what hurts. That for someone that went with we as the family went to every trial proceeding, seen the graphic pictures of the CSI teams. It was very hurtful. And it was hurtful to see that the whole thing went down like most other cases,
right?
Where there's not any resources to really find out what happened, what is the true story, who got coerced to say this or that, who took a plea bargain. None of that stuff has ever come to light. And there's so many unanswered questions. In a good way, I can honestly say that a part of his demise and his taken out of this world, it was the system. For their lack of really wanting to know the truth,
Yeah.
And posing it to the so-called couple of offenders that ended up, ratting on each other so that one could get the plea deal so that the county didn't have to take on the cost for a full trial.
Wow.
That's the scenario that went down. So, and it's not very unfamiliar with why other people are locked up. More than 90% of people in jail in this country are there because they took a plea bargain. They never had a trial by their jury. That's all.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
Right.
And people are in there falsely accused. They ain't gonna snitch on each other. I'm not saying everybody, but there was a good number of people in there that just didn't want to deal with the system or was too afraid to have to be in the presence of talking that lingo within the court and not having proper representation, not having any kind of money for bail. And if you did have a job, you'd have to skip it, potentially lose your job because you had a court hearing.
Right.
So no, I'm going to go take a plea deal and I'll be over with it or whatever. I just have to live the consequences of having this on my record. I mean, that's the scenario for so many people caught up in the system that revolving door these days. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, what are we supposed to do when we're like there and faced with the folks that actually did pull the trigger on my man? You know, it's like, this is a crime of poverty, you know? I don't know what the reasons were why they took him out. Was it contrived? Was it a conspiracy somehow? We'll never know that. But the fact of the matter is, another poor person that didn't have something and was just kind of going for the robbery. And Mike is someone that was down for his. He wasn't going to have nobody take nothing from him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? You know, that's a part of dignity right there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did put up a fight. He did put up a fight. I've read through the autopsy. I've seen the stated bruise marks. I've seen the pictures. I don't even want to remember them. I know where his body was laying when they picked him up. I know what was missing. You know, it's hard. It's really, really hard, you know? And then when it was coupled with like reasons why the system said this and that about him, maybe there was an issue with drugs, or maybe there was an issue with prostitution, or the issue, he's in the wrong neighborhood, and all this other kind of stuff. How do you juggle all this kind of alternative like mess that they've cluttered his last night? You know, how do you make that pretty? You can't, and that's what really hurts. You know, but what all we can do now is just say that, you know what, he's got a legacy that is long lasting, that has gone to the point where people who never knew him uphold him as this incredible source of style, a master of technician. The stories about him of how he interrelated with people, and the love he gave people of all backgrounds, all people, and really truly was about building. He was about education too. You know, he was about benefiting and building a better self. You know, he wasn't he loved to go bomb. Hell yeah. You know, and however you want to talk about how that destroying shit, nah, he was about making something that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But he was going to do it his way. You know? So, yeah, it's wonderful to see like kids coming up today refer to him as being a great source of inspiration, you know, for hip hop community, for the Filipino community, young folks. You know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and I mean, to this day, people are probably saying it because it's true. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not lost on me that it was two people of color in an exchange that night, and you know, another man of color dead on the streets of Oakland. It's just so it's fundamentally depressing that nothing's really changed. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you for talking on that, because I know that cuts real deep for you. But I appreciate it. And
long live dream. You know
yeah. You know,
dream, but don't sleep. Don't sleep.
There it is.
Stay woke.
What?
There it is. Stay woke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Stay aware.
It is. You know, when I stopped painting for a few years, and in 2007, when I grabbed the cans, a lot of what I thought about was like painting a few. I was like, I'll just paint a few pieces for the homies that aren't around. You know, I thought of it like that, this opportunity
Memorial,
and even if I wasn't painting a dream piece, but painting with Mike Dream in my mind, or Ty, or any of the homies that I lost, thinking about them, and you know, that always, it still juices me up, still gets me going, painting for the homies that can't. And I wonder if after 2000, after his passing, how much of that maybe played into your thinking, doing some more paint on walls, or however you processed. Actually, maybe that should be the question.
I mean, like you're saying, there's so many folks that have given their lives, or lost their lives, been stolen from us, and they've provided a lot of great works for people to remember. And in that sense, I mean, you know, we are purveyors of keeping a legacy alive and honoring those that are, you know, legendary in the time, still alive, or have passed on. You know, I mean, this is how we, preserve and maintain our culture. so that it is not, um, recreated by entities from the outside. We have a responsibility to make sure that folks didn't put out their work in vain. And so to recall, like what I said, like meeting these older writers from New York, and keeping their memory alive. Every time their name is said, is a way to remember what they've done. You know. But yeah, that's again going back to a purpose to what you do.
Yeah.
It's not fly by night like whatever. And sure, folks do that, but it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, or graffiti.
That's for sure. And so then, did graffiti then also become? Is there an attachment to your relationships with Mike or others that are past that have either kept you involved doing graph or even taken you away from it? Has a loss of friends like that played a role in how much graph you've produced?
How much?
Like I know some guys that just got away from it and said never again. Yeah, They're just like,
I guess it's like, I don't know. Again, aging now, it's like how well do you want to do something as opposed to how long you want to do it. How the quantity versus the quality. I'm certainly not someone that's pumping out huge amounts of work. Yeah. It's very. Compared to some of these guys out here, wow, man, I do so little. I do nothing at all. It's like, dang, how do you have the time to do that?
Well, they don't have the same probably other places that you output, because you're producing a lot of stuff, just not a lot of paintings, potentially, you got
here and there,
wife and family and teaching and other work. It's like, there's a big legacy there too. You were in Israel not long ago, correct? How many years back was that?
Palestine.
Excuse me. That makes sense. I would like to be on that side too. You were in Palestine.
It was interesting going to Tel Aviv airport, because you can't even say the word. You can't even, really? Anything that resembles like, somewhat of a more Arabic way of saying something. Suspect. What are you doing here in this country? Why are you here? What's your purpose? How much money you got? Who's picking you up? Whoa, they're getting the stare downs just coming in. I had to put on a front like, hey, I'm really excited to visit the Holy Land. Oh, I'm really like, juiced about this. I kind of had to like get through those channels and make sure there's nothing potentially incriminating that would be putting me back on a plane.
Damn.
Nothing that I had on me that would forward any questioning if I was to get pulled into a room and searched. So it was pretty interesting.
What year was that?
Pretty interesting. A few years back. Oh yeah, we did a project in Oakland, Art Forces. We did a Oakland Palestine solidarity mural in Oakland.
Nice.
And a part of the water rights project too. Estria's former project that did multiple murals around the world on rights to and access to clean water for communities.
Incredible.
So
cause.
It was it's the causes like that I get down with, and then there's been long held relationships with different communities there that do murals and stuff. So I was asked to go along, so I went along.
What did the mural in Oakland look like? What was the design?
We all collectively, I think it was 10 of us, right? Who was on that wall? Chris Gazla, Avaya was on that wall. Aaron Yoshi, Susan Green. We all decided to do IROT was on that wall. We all decided to do a tree. Each panel had a tree. We were going to represent a tree of growth, kind of like the Oakland symbol has got like
Oh, that's right, the oak tree.
The silhouette of like a tree,
Yeah.
branch tree, yeah. And so, kind of coming from that, saying locally, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about respecting and understanding, and wanting to learn more about the indigenous presence in this occupied territory. What is also occupied territory is over there in the Middle East. So making sure that we run the connection.
Yeah.
That homeland, tree, roots, that sort of thing. So everybody did a manifestation of a tree, and my tree was very ornate with people creating the community in outstretching of the shape of the tree. And then there's my take on it was like the resistance, and that tradition is within the culture of the people. And what's the culture? What is the art of the people? It's like the dance. It's like the particular fabric. I have like these dancers doing a depth cut dance, and then there's these keys, these golden keys, kind of like a skeleton key shaped thing.
Okay.
But it symbolizes the right of return because the Palestinian families that have been removed and are living generations now in different refugee camps, they hold on to their key that was to unlock their previous home. It really was profound to me, the understanding and the love for what does homeland really mean. I think a lot of folks, if you're not native here in this land or from the Americas, I think a lot of times you feel like a little disconnected, and of course all the cement around us just really solidifies that. Pun intended.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of homeland was very profound in understanding when heading out there and just checking out the situation of an occupied territory and occupied peoples. It's really, really real out there.
So and you said you flew into Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
And then where did you go after you were in the airport? Where did you drive to?
Oh, my homie picked me up. I mean, homie that I didn't know, but I met him over there. I mean, he picked me up. We got on the, one of those highways, I guess, one of the highways that wasn't designated to have only Israelis drive on, because this brother was Palestinian. But just starting to see like all the walls, all the barbed wire, and just seeing the whole countryside just like divvied off in different ways is kind of a trip. Yeah, it's definitely an experience.
I've seen a lot of like political graffiti photos from that part of the world. And it reminded me in your episode 1 about, you were talking about the sort of political street art, graffiti art you were seeing in 1980 in the Bay Area that kind of started to, teach you a little bit about people's struggles.
Reading the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Wake up, smell the news.
Right. Yeah. What'd you see in Palestine what'd you see like out there?
Oh, on the Palestinian side, a lot of painting, a lot of stuff on the apartheid wall, the separation wall. Just a lot of just shout outs from a lot of people around the world. All different corners of the world would come and represent. And just writing, I'm here from Guatemala, solidarity with Palestinians. I'm here from Ireland, just all over the place. And then, people have done some pretty big, nice looking art too, and then portraits and other images of people being mistreated by the soldiers, the occupying armies, But that was, I was only in Bethlehem and Dheisheh and then I was in Jerusalem, just kind of going back and forth, what east side and the west side, and yeah, it's up, but then it's not. I mean, as far as there's some parts of West Jerusalem, more of the Israeli areas, controlled areas. There were some pieces, people visited from different places. Who was I walking around? I tripped me out. Oh, Sever was there. I see a bunch of Sever tags.
Nice.
Like homie from where's he from? Atlanta or somewhere?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him up. I was like, oh, I know that brother. But as far as like the other graph in the refugee camps and stuff, a lot of martyr artwork, a lot of tributes to folks that have been killed by the military or the police. Shout outs to people who are imprisoned. Just a lot of politic graffiti.
How many times did you go like sort of back and forth across the border on that trip?
I mean, I was only there for a couple of weeks. I was in just outside Bethlehem in Dehesha. We did a mural project with this community at the community center, and then I went to East Jerusalem, the Silwan, just right down the street from the Wailing Wall, the Jewish sector of the old city. Just right down the street there, there's a community there that I got to paint a community center, and then the main street. There was a big long wall where I was allowed to put down some words. I just kind of took some words of a famous Palestinian poet and just kind of put the words up there, from Mahmoud Darwish, something to the effect of I am not my home is not a, how did it go? My home is not a suitcase, and I am no traveler. Something that refers to like being removed and displaced. Interesting part of the community there. It's like settlers have come in and taken over territory, like house by house, and sometimes in some cases room by room.
Wow.
They'll actually say, okay, this is my room now. We're going to cordon it off. You can stay over there. And so the tension is really thick. They're undermining the foundations of homes that have been there for decades, even hundreds of years, doing these archaeological digs to find remnants of old, timely, archival stuff that was from, I don't know, 2,000 years ago or something, saying that they have like particular right to this land because of what was there at that time. But in the meantime, they've excavated all the other stuff that had built up upon that from previous eras and disregarded it, So it's just like it's so entrenched with removal of contemporarily the people there now. I just was there just getting a simple glimpse of it.
Yeah.
But the history and the wretched treatment of the people has been going on for, 60 years now?
Yeah.
Oh, more, 100 years, especially right after 48.
Yeah.
And the
when it was created.
The 67 war, that it's a lot. There's a lot to it,
Yeah, and it's certainly like too much for us to unpack in this episode. But again, like you're out there doing a mural project, basically working and painting and living as a teacher, and as a leader. What was the mural like that you did near Bethlehem?
Oh, it's an image I created many years ago for solidarity with Palestinian struggle, which is depicting the star that is used on the Israeli flag, the Star of David, that takes the shape of a wall, an enclosed jail sort of sense, you know. And then there's these jam-packed, you know, communities of Palestinians within these confines, and it's just depicting like a fist coming out of it, displaying a strength and a power. So I kind of just wanted to share that, and it's that was about it. You know, it's just a fist coming out of a jail compound, basically.
Nice.
You know?
Did you do it mostly with brush?
No, it was all spray.
Oh, what?
It was funny. Oh, it's so funny. Like I didn't have any green, right? And I needed some green. That's another thing about, you know, how they go after people. You can't paint Palestinian colors anywhere. You go to jail.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that.
Yeah, the red, green, white, and black together. You can't even paint it like it's designed inside a flower or a butterfly or anything.
Fuck.
I mean, it doesn't even have to take the shape of the flag. The fact that those colors are being used is symbolizing like resistance, you know, a rebellion.
Right. Wow.
So I'm running out of green, so I left, right? And then I'm at kind of a turn in the wall because I'm, you know, the guard towers with the soldiers at the top can't really see me, but it was kind of an adventure, you know.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So I left there and I went. They got a Banksy little gift shop.
No,
because he did. You know, Banksy's got this famous piece that he's known for depicting an Israeli soldier getting frisked by some young girl.
Yes,
you know that one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so the original wall that was on had been taken over by, I don't know how it got formed, but they took the wall and they built an enclosure around it. So now it's like a little gift shop with all kinds of Banksy stuff. Like they sell placemats and mugs and posters and postcards and stickers and keychains and all.
That's incredible.
And they put the original wall, which is kind of faded now, under some kind of huge plexiglass and put some rim lighting around it. And it looks really odd. It's like, really? And, you know, it makes me wonder again, like, is this just another little hoax that Banksy's throwing on the public? Is he controlling this? What's going on here? You know, I don't even have any answers for any of that, but I always seem to wonder. I love critiquing these movies. It's like, anyways, but so I'll go there and I'm like going in there just tripping off of stuff, and I just wanted to get some water. It was mad hot, and I had a bag of paint with me. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was just painting the wall. He's like, "Oh, really? Come outside, paint this wall." I was like, "Dude, I just finished painting, man. I don't have any more green." He said, "No worries." He jumps in his car, takes the two kids with him, leaves the shop open, and I'm just standing there. And he dude's back in like 4.5 minutes, screeches, you know, "Here's some green. Can you do something on this wall?" You know, I'm like, "All right, whatever. I got me a green now." So I went and painted like a butterfly kite with the Palestinian colors and called it a day. Took some pictures. Kids were happy. But then I went back to the wall and put some green in where I needed it. So that was a cool little exchange.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Kind of organic, like spontaneous stuff kind of happens like that. I love when, you know, that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah,
it's real.
Totally. You know? You know, I don't know, man. I don't know how to end this episode because I don't want it to end, I think. You know, I could just keep chopping it with you.
Stories, man.
I'm saying you have so much.
And again, these are just stories. They are not based in any fact.
No, that's not true. This is real fact. It's your life, you know? It's super cool, man. Look, it's
Fake news.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah,
actually, I didn't even say that. This is cool.
Well, no, you did. And so just one thing I want to say is, like, I mean, this is a public record. You know what I mean? You're a critical thinker. I want to wrap this episode, and it's episode's about you. Like, anything, any last words, anything you want to talk about, be it fake news or, you know, health in 2018, how you plan to be healthier, or how you're, I don't know what it is. You got something to say? Last remarks.
Oh my God. Just, I don't know, good people. Don't forget about empathy. And to take care of yourself, you know. There's just push the love, you know, and oh man, I don't know. I talk enough already. Just
that could be it. That could be it. Push the love. I think that's incredible. Actually, it's so simple. It's really simple, man. And it's so easy to be so distracted by all the hate that we are seeing from like the top down. You know, you're a grassroots guy, and we know right now that it's going to take grassroots movements to change the way things are going right now.
Yeah, at the same time, I need a raise too. Anyways, yeah.
Oh, damn. I hope your employers are listening to this, man. Listen, dude, really great talking to you. Really inspirational stuff. Thank you so much. And
Right on. You help me laugh.
fuck yeah, we can do that more. You know, I'm happy to laugh more. So anyway, yeah. Listen, thanks for coming back on. It's been really great.
Thanks, Adam. Keep it up.